Tonight on the County Line, I'll show you what annual event took place this past weekend at Shenango Creek.
The County Line's Heather Storm takes us to a place in Lawrence County where the fur is always flying.
And Sebastian Driver Salazar has some Lady Titan highlights from last week's record-breaking game. We're live.
We're local.
The County Line starts now.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us for this week's edition of the County Line. I'm Shannon McLean.
And I'm Elizabeth Farry. This past weekend, I went to a local event that draws in crowds from all over the area. Take a look as I bring you to v.11 to see what went on at Shenango Creek last Saturday.
On most days, Shenango Creek is a calm, quiet area where you can usually find one or two people fly fishing or looking at the falls. But there's at least one day out of the year that the creek is surrounded by people and lots of excitement. That day, pre-season trout stocking. Crowds of people, young and old, come to the event, arriving early just to get the best view. Lawrence County Waterways Conservation Officer Jim Ammond says that different people like this event for different reasons.
A lot of the kids like to come just to see the fish, and the anglers like to come to see what size fish they're going to be getting.
Everyone finds a way to pass the time before the trucks arrive with the trout, whether it be a friendly snowball fight or talking strategy with a fellow fisherman. But the real excitement starts the second the trucks pull up. Lots of people get a chance to help transfer the fish from their temporary homes in the trucks all the way to their brand new home in Shenango Creek. Some local high school students were on hand to help bring some of the trout to other locations down the creek. Laurel High School student John Sharp says that even though he doesn't fish himself, he loves getting the chance to help out with the stocking.
Well, you get in a canoe, get a float box on the side, you try to go down the creek without falling in. It's just good fun. I mean, everybody just hangs out, and we do something good for the environment. We put some fish in the creek and for the fishermen so they have something to catch.
Now that Shenango Creek is full of some brand new trout, the only thing left to do is wait for the opening of trout season, April 16th.
So did you touch any of the fish?
Oh, no. I didn't get that close. There were actually so many little kids around that I was trying to stay away from the edge of the water.
Didn't get a chance.
It could have been bad.
Oh, man. Just like the trout were released into their home, many animals wait every day to be taken into loving homes. The Lawrence County Humane Society takes in many animals each day in the hopes of finding that perfect home. Reporter Heather Storm takes us up close and personal with the organization.
1,500 animals are brought here to the Lawrence County Humane Society each year, 60% of which end up finding loving homes. I spoke with the president of the Lawrence County Humane Society, Cindy Medica, who explained to us more about the Humane Society organization.
Usually the majority of them are cats or dogs. However, we do get all kinds. We've had hamsters, gerbils, guinea pigs, a lot of ferrets through the years, and also some snakes. The shelters on the internet now has opened many new horizons for new owners.
But I saw her on the internet, and she was just looked so cute. So I had to come in and meet her.
People interested in adopting cannot take their new pet home right away. They must fill out an application and wait at least 24 hours while references are checked to make sure that new owners will provide a loving home. The Rubin family is hoping to bring a new dog home soon.
We heard that pets from the Humane Society, I know you get a special connection with them. Somehow they know that you're rescuing them from something. And we heard they make good pets, so we're going to go home and talk to Dad.
If everyone were a responsible pet owner, we wouldn't be standing here today, and we wouldn't have received the number of animals that now we must deal with, and some of the cases in a very heartbreaking way. But the majority of them will have a happy ending, and that gives us a great feeling to watch an animal go out to a new home.
To find out more about adopting a pet or even to send a donation, call 724-654-8520 or go to www.petfinder.com. From the Lawrence County Humane Society for the County Line, I'm Heather Storm.
Now we'll check in with this week's top local stories.
Allison Gasper has this week's 88.9 on the County Line.
Titan Radio Digital 88.9 News brings you local news now.
Good evening. I'm Allison Gasper with this week's top stories from Titan Radio News on 89 FM. Wilmington Township supervisors have agreed to delay construction of a water line project for at least a year. Officials made the decision at Monday's Township Board meeting. The move comes in the wake of controversy as some property owners, including the Amish, say they don't want city water. The proposed project would affect nearly 250 residents in and around State Route 158. An enforced curfew is now in effect in New Wilmington. Anyone caught on the streets after midnight under the age of 17 without an adult will be fined. Police Chief Carmen Picarello says this is to help prevent young people from getting involved in criminal activity. He also says it is to protect them from being a victim of violent crimes. Just in time for summer vacation, Southwest Airlines arrives at Pittsburgh International Airport in May. This means lower prices for lots of locals wanting to get away. And in order to compete, other airlines such as U.S. Airways have already started slashing their ticket prices. Pennsylvania has many different types of weather situations, and in order to prepare citizens for severe weather-related dangers, Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency has deemed this week as Weather Emergency Week. State officials ask that the county and local officials take this week to prepare for severe weather and take time to practice emergency alert exercises. That was your 89 on the County Line. And to keep you up to date every weekday, tune in to Titan Radio for continuous news coverage. More County Line is on the way.
This week, our On the Road team grabs a bite to eat at one of Newcastle's newest restaurants. Eat in, take out, or delivery, there's something to please everyone's taste buds. Join Mike and Aiden as they check out a local family-run restaurant. The brothers claim they have the best tasting eggplant in town.
Welcome to On the Road. I'm Mike.
And I'm Aiden.
This week we headed to Newcastle in search of some fine dining, and what did we find?
The Farone Brothers.
The Farone Brothers, a little new restaurant. The food is excellent. Now you might not have heard of them yet because they just opened about 5 months ago.
About that.
About 5 months ago. Well, we spoke to manager Bobby Farone, one of the Farone brothers. So let's see what he has to say.
Me and my brothers, there's 4 brothers. My oldest is Freddie, Anthony, myself, and David's the youngest. And it basically got started. We all started in the kitchen in the restaurant business since we were all 16.
Bobby offered us a quick tour of the kitchen.
Now, this is one of my employees making one of our homemade products. This is eggplant. It's one of our best sellers. It's my grandmother's recipe. What she does is flour, egg, breadcrumb, then we fry it and bake it. If you're looking for some good eggplant, guarantee this is the best you'll ever have. So take it from me. I'm Bobby, one of the Farone brothers. Happy. But this is Rihanna, my best eggplant maker. So if you guys are hungry for some eggplant, come up and try us out.
In addition to eggplant, they also have some other scrumptious things on the menu.
Our menu consists of pasta dinners. We have everything. We have sandwiches, steak, ham, meatball, roast beef. You know, a nice selection of sandwiches. We have wings, pizzas.
That does it for this. Aiden?
What?
We're going to finish the show. You know, if you could take a break from eating. I know the food's really good and all. But
it is wonderful.
It is good. All right. That does it for this week's On the Road. I'm Mike.
And I'm Aiden.
Join us next week when we go On the Road.
After you've filled your bellies with warm Italian goodness, the next best idea is, of course, go shopping. The County Line's Mike Walensky talks with the Shenango Volunteer Fire Department about their flea market that's held 9 times a year.
Barbara Thompson at the Shenango Volunteer Fire Department.
where they're having one of their monthly flea markets. So, Barb, how often do you have the flea market?
We have it the second Wednesday of every month, starting in March through October. The people can come in and set up the night before, and it runs from 8 o'clock in the morning until 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, what kind of items can I find here?
You can find anything from baby items to tools to pictures, clothing. We even have a lady that brings homemade candies in.
On average, how many vendors do you have?
On an average, we may have as many as 17, 18 vendors.
Okay, that sounds like quite a lot. How many people usually come out for it?
People-wise, it depends. If the weather's nice, they'll come in and out. Some of them know that they're here and they'll hit us on their way to work. Some of them will come even in on their lunch hour.
Okay, now you said usually during the summer months you're outside and inside, right?
You can set up outside, you can set up inside. If you set up inside, we give you an 8-foot table for $5, and it's air conditioned. So if it's raining and hot outside, you know that you have the air conditioned building. If it's outside, then we'll still supply you with a table, but then you might take the chance of it being hot or cold.
Okay, now on average, how much money do you raise from these events?
In the last 3 years, we've averaged over a little more than $1,000 per year, which we donate back to the fire department.
Okay, so that really helps them out,
right,
buying new equipment and stuff.
Our township is we do not have a fire tax, so anything the Ladies Auxiliary does actually promotes and goes back to the fire department.
Okay, great. Now what other fundraisers does the Ladies Auxiliary do?
We have 2 craft shows, one in the spring and one in the fall. We have a card party coming up on April 25th. And we are in the process of selling pies to also help raise money.
Okay, Barbara, that sounds great. Good luck with all your fundraisers. Thank you.
The winter season feels like it's drawing on, but it should soon be coming to an end. In anticipation for the spring season, the County Line's Luke Garrett went to a warm and bright place to take a look at what the next season will bring.
This week's winter weather, it's hard to believe that spring is right around the corner. But at Cottage Gardens, spring has already arrived.
As you can see outside, it's kind of a blustery day. And our spring season usually starts as soon as our season is finished, which is about July. We start thinking about the next year. And all of our decisions that what are we going to grow for the next year are made during the June and July season. Everything is ordered, and we start generally about the end of January, mid-February of our growing.
Tell me a little about what you do all winter to get ready for the spring.
A lot of cleaning out the greenhouses, weeding, ordering our pots and plants that we'll be using for the spring. Mid-February is probably when we start our first set of seeds.
So you start pretty early?
Yep.
So there's still snow on the ground when you guys are thinking spring?
Mm-hmm. You don't want to get out of bed, and you have to.
Most of your other plants do require a warm temperature in the soil. So don't be in a rush to get your plants planted. We're going to get some nice days in April. We're going to get some nice days in the early part of May. And everybody's going to say, I'm ready to plant. I want to get my begonias. I want my impatiens. I'm going to put them in the ground. You have to have a warm temperature. That ground has to be warmed up, especially like with tomatoes and peppers. Everybody's anxious to get gardening. Just wait.
It may be white outside, but it's green in here. In Cottage Gardens in Hermitage, I'm Luke Garrett for the County Line.
I'm here in the streets of New Wilmington asking people how they prepare for weather emergencies. How do you prepare for weather emergencies?
Well, I make sure the gas tank is full and that we've got plenty of the essentials in the house in case we don't get out for a couple of days. And then sit back and hope that, as usual, the weatherman's been wrong.
Well, we keep blankets, flashlights, bottled water, stuff like that,
For weather emergencies, I always make sure listen to the weather report, and if there's going to be storm coming, make sure I have plenty of food in to eat, and milk and bread and the necessary stuff. And if I'm going out on the highway, make sure I have plenty of gas, and make sure I have flashlight, warm clothing, make sure that if anything happens that don't have any problem getting back home.
Thank you very much. As you can see, many people are very prepared for weather emergencies. Now back to you, Catherine, in the studio.
Spring is rapidly approaching, and with it comes the ensuing flood season. Joining us right now is Lawrence County's own Brian Melser, Director of Public Safety, to tell us a little bit about what you need to know if you are caught in a flood, what type of kit you should have, and all types of interesting information, because it is Weather Emergency Week. Am I correct?
Yes, it is. It's severe weather week in the Commonwealth and the nation, actually.
So tell us a little bit about what you're highlighting on this, I guess, tour of information you're giving out.
Well, we're participating in conjunction with the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency in Severe Weather Preparedness Week. And what it entailed was some educational materials that have been going out throughout the week. And it'll culminate tomorrow, and we'll have an exercise at the county level where we practice our preparedness for severe weather responses, how we alert the public, how we alert our fire departments, how we alert our police departments, and so on.
Well, let me ask you this. This is basically just for flooding and thunderstorms, am I correct, or is it for all natural disasters?
No, well, first of all, we like to have an all-hazards approach, so not only natural disasters, but man-made disasters as well, terrorist incidents included.
So it's all encompassing.
Yeah, but today's, it could be severe thunderstorms, tornadoes, severe winter storms, the whole gamut of natural emergencies.
All right, let's talk about kits, because Kirsten was saying in her county comment that a lot of people have gas, they have food, they have those things. What do you typically recommend that people aren't thinking about that they should have in their kit?
Well, one of the most important things, and it's before the emergency even occurs, is we like all of our residents to look at the idea of getting into severe weather radios, which you could purchase at any local retail outlet.
Do those have batteries?
They're battery operated and they're power operated as well. But they alert you of potential weather and man-made events that could be occurring. We have the ability to alert our residents before the emergency even occurs. But what you mentioned is what we urge a citizen to have in their kit. 3 to 5 days food supply, medicine supply, water supply.
All those goods.
Exactly.
And you want to keep these in your vehicle as well, I would assume.
Yeah, you should have a similar kit in your vehicle, blankets,
all those.
In case you were to be stranded away from home.
Okay, if you were stranded, let me give you a hypothetical situation. You're in a flood, and you got your car in the lapses of water. It's circling your car. What do you do? I mean, this has happened all the time in the past. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the first thing is we want you not to get into that situation. And unfortunately, it does happen a lot throughout the nation. It happened a lot in our county last year with some of the floodings that happened from Hurricanes Francis and Ivan. Don't get into those situations. If you see high or rising water, don't try to drive through it. Don't underestimate the power of raging water. If you get to that, you try to get to higher ground. If the water is raging high enough, you would want to get as high as possible, but you're in a bad situation there getting into rushing water. Hopefully you have a way of communicating by dialing 911 and getting the dispatcher on the line. Yes, have a cell phone. Exactly.
Indeed. Okay, so you recommend that. I want to ask you a quick question. Lots of viewers always get this confused. Weather watch versus weather warning. Will you give us some clues as to what the difference is?
A watch is that a severe thunderstorm or tornado is possible, likely, and a warning would be that there has actually been one sighted in the area, tornadoes sighted in the area, or the Weather Service has a strong indication that a severe thunderstorm is impacting us or is going to impact us.
Those are good things to know. But either case, you do need to pay attention to these.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, earlier today, there was a drill from the National Weather Service. In correspondence, I take it that, at least on Titan Radio, this has gone out to all different radio stations all over the area.
It's through it's called the Emergency Alerting System, the EAS system, and we actually have the ability to tap into that system as well to notify the public of a potential disaster.
So that's how you can kind of end the week with a nice little culminating drill and this activity to really wind it up.
Exactly.
Very good. Well, thank you again so much for coming on with those really great tips. And if you want to get more information in case you're stranded in a flood or in case you want to know what to keep in that kit, go to www.pima.state.pa.us. And thank you again, Brian Melser, Director of Lawrence County's Department of Public Safety.
Thank you.
And more County Line after this.
Crackhead, drug dealer, gang member.
all kicked out of the community with the help of kids
like me.
Me. You can help prevent crime. Call 1-800-722-TEENS to find out how.
It's time we're judged by what we do,
not how we look.
Hi everybody, this is Tim McGraw for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. You know, I spend a lot of time on the road and I see some funny things out there, but one thing that's not so funny is someone who's about to drive drunk. So take the keys and be a friend, because friends don't let friends drive drunk.
I wasn't going to school because I was making money stealing cars. Well, I was 10 when I first got involved with drugs. I skipped school because, nobody cared.
When I first got pregnant, school was not important to me, so I dropped out.
Well, if I don't finish school, then I can't go to college. That's the whole point of what I want to do with my life.
I still need to go to school to make it for myself.
I think I'm happier now. I know I'm happier now.
Welcome back to Titantown Sports. The fun of February is giving way to the madness of March. This is any sports fan's favorite time of the year, and we've got the highlights to prove it. We start like we have the last couple weeks with the Lady Titans of Westminster, who last Saturday were trying to keep the Cinderella story alive against the Falcons of Messiah College. And the Lady Titans were dancing in the second round of the NCAA tournament against the number 10 team in the country. Early on, it looked like the Lady Titans were going to hang tough. Desiree Sterling with the drive on the baseline, kicks it out to Mary Jane Eaton. She knocks it down. Mary Jane finished with 6 points on the afternoon. And then the Lady Titans turning defense into offense. Allison Gasper, yoink, haha, she's going the other way. Finishes with the easy deuce. Allison had 7 points for the Lady Titans, who really struggled in the first half from the field. Here, Erica Tallow with Coach Scott, and the defense played well, but the offense wasn't there. 33% shooting in that first half. There's a miss, and going the other way, Kristen Sassman, coast to coast. She gets the layup, 2 of her game-high 24 points. Messiah too strong. They go on to win 69-46. The dream season comes to an end for the Lady Titans with a 21-8 mark. Messiah moves on to the Sweet 16. For the high schoolers, we're getting deeper and deeper into the playoffs as we reach the state level. Plenty of local teams still around. We start in AA with the Lakeview Lady Sailors taking on Seton LaSalle out of the WPIAL. Lakeview, the District 10 champs, they entered the game with a 22-6 mark, and the Lakeview fans were a force all night long. Really helped the Lady Sailors in their quest. For Seton LaSalle, they have a D1 prospect, Nikki Williams, and she had a great game, especially in the first half. Here knocks down a three-pointer. She had 16 points, but they all came in the first half. And Lakeview has a star of their own, Sheena Aiden. Number 23, she wears black and red. She's the next Michael Jordan. Here, drives into the paint, and then the fadeaway. Oh, she looks just like MJ. 28 points for Aiden. Lakeview goes on to win 55-44. Kennedy Catholic over in Single A, another team locally that's playing in the state playoffs. Kennedy Catholic entered as the District 10 champion, taking on Clairton Wednesday night. It was a close game, wire to wire. In the fourth quarter, down to Kennedy Catholic with the ball. Kendra Radkowski goes up with it. She gets it to go. She had 21 points. That bucket forced it to overtime. In the OT period, it was 57 apiece. Kennedy Catholic would score just 3 points, one of them coming here from Alexis George. And that was all they needed as Kennedy Catholic goes on to win 60-57. Over to the boys, where Greenville and Beaver Falls were doing battle over at Sharon High School. Sharon, one of the biggest gyms around, and it was packed. Beaver Falls, the WPIAL champ. Greenville entered as the third-place team out of District 10. Dave Stevenson here with a tip-in, 2 points. He goes inside, and he'll show us that he can go outside as well. Also wearing number 23 there from the left wing. Knocks down a three-pointer. He had 11 points to lead the Tigers. 14 different players scored on the night for Beaver Falls. Matt Fell of Greenville, 2 of his 14 there at the half. Greenville was down 14. They'd come out firing in the second half. Back-to-back three-pointers from Tommy McCormick. He finished with a game-high 17. 5 three-pointers for McCormick, but it wasn't enough as Greenville goes on to lose 82-58. While Greenville drops out of the state playoffs, plenty of local teams moving on, and we're moving on to the one-on-one. This week, Ed Bender, the equipment manager for all Titan Athletics, he takes care of everything. Jason Mackey now mano-a-mano with the athletic department's Mr. Fix It, Build It, and Clean It, Ed Bender.
Thanks a lot, Sebastian. We're down here at the field house, and if you've ever walked through the field house or played a Westminster sport, you've seen the man to the left of me, Mr. Ed Bender. And Mr. Bender, how did you get your start here at the college?
Well, there was an ad in the paper. After I retired from teaching and coaching, I was out building houses and saw that as a nowhere job. So I saw this in the paper and answered the ad and got lucky.
Now, what are some of the things you do here at the college? What are some of your responsibilities?
We have to make sure that everything's ready for the game, that all the teams get everything that they need, that our coaches have everything they need. We don't have enough time to go through everything. Coaches should coach. I take care of the rest, or the maintenance staff, or the buildings and grounds crews. We've got to be ready for games, and we're ready.
Now, obviously, you deal with a lot of stuff here at the college. What is one of your pet peeves of stuff that goes on?
When the uniforms get dirty, when they're out in the mud, and it just takes forever to try to get them clean and respectable, and we try. It's tough.
And by the same token, what are some of the most delightful things that you enjoy here at Westminster?
I love watching the kids play. And when the game's going on, I've got a few things I have to do, but basically I get to watch the games, and that's the fun. It's a labor of love. I'm not here for the money, obviously. It's fun.
Now, outside of Westminster, what are some of your favorite things to do?
I'd love to play golf, although I haven't been able to play for a while because there's no time. On the weekends, we have a camp up at Conneaut. We go up there every weekend in the summer. That's for relaxation, a place to get away. That's probably about all I have time to do.
All right, well, that's all the time we have, so back up to you, Sebastian.
Ed Bender, great guy, and really gets things done for the Westminster Athletic Department. Before we get out of here, I'll pass along that the PAC Athletic Directors meeting on February 28th. The wheels were set in motion to have Thomas Moore join the PAC. Looks like it'll happen. Of course, the move still needs final approval from the President's Council of the conference, and we'll give you more on that as the story develops. More County Line on the way. Stay tuned to the Westminster Cable Network.
I got a filet of sole and a cracked crab for Mr. Studied higher math back in school and now can order expensive lunches and charge it to the company.
Next office down the hall.
Well, thanks. Have a good one.
Ralph Hernandez, congratulations! You can now get college loans, government jobs, and job training. Men must register with Selective Service when they turn 18. Go to sss.gov or the post office.
It's the law.
Picture yourself at Westminster College. Westminster offers an educational experience that is second to none. We've been exceeding students' expectations for 150 years. Westminster combines the prestige of a national liberal arts college with the personal attention you deserve. Westminster is a national leader in graduation rate performance and is the most affordable national liberal arts college in Pennsylvania. Visit Westminster's beautiful 300-acre campus to experience an ideal learning environment. Succeed at Westminster College.
Next week on the County Line, Mike Walensky will take us to a local donut shop that has kept the area sweet for years.
The On the Road team will be exploring another hidden treasure in the local area.
And of course, Sebastian Driver Salazar will update us on the sports scene at local high schools and right here at Westminster College.
I'm Shannon McLean.
And I'm Elizabeth Farry. Thank you so much for tuning in.